So I'm here with Luke Belmar, entrepreneur, founder of Capital Club. Luke, welcome and welcome back to Dubai.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to talking about crypto and what it holds for this year.
Yeah, super excited to chat to you. I've obviously been in the crypto space for many years. You have as well. I think you were in the space since 2016, so even longer than me. So I think we're going to dive today into a lot of the intricate nitty-gritty in the market, the dynamics, best coins to buy, where you view the market going over the next few years. So I think it's going to be a great conversation, and yeah, hopefully one people can find a lot of value in.
They will. Let's get into it.
So how did this, and we've already been talking for a couple minutes and we're doing the intro now. How did this all begin for you? Like, where did you originally start off, both in crypto and entrepreneurship, to be where you are today? Because obviously now you're hugely successful, you have the brand, but I'm interested to know how that all started.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, people tend to go towards the business model or the niche that they are exposed to or that they're aware of. When I went to the United States at the age of 16, I started pressure washing basketball courts, cleaning toilets, working at restaurants, but I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So the first kind of mindset of entrepreneurs, like, you know what, let me maybe start a restaurant. That was my thing, right? Like, let me start a restaurant. Then I started researching it. Restaurants operate on 1% margins. A lot of them close down within 2 years. Every single day you have a new churn of customers. So every single day customers have expectations of perfection, right? Which is really hard to maintain. You have food, you have inventory, you have employees, all these things. I was like, bro, there needs to be a better way for entrepreneurship.
They're hard businesses to run.
Super hard. Passion project for sure, but very difficult. While I was waiting tables, somebody came up to me, one of the fellow servers, and they're like, hey, I've been trading stocks. I made $14,000 this last month. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's fucking crazy. We made maybe $3,000 a month waiting tables. And I'm like, well, how are you doing it? What is it? He's like, oh, download this app called Robinhood. That's when Robinhood was new because we didn't know anything about finance. So you have this little gamified app. So I was like, hey, this is extremely intriguing. How do I get involved? He's like, read this book, Stocks, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. I'm like, okay, sounds good. That's the first book that I read about in the psychology of trading. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. A couple weeks go in, I buy a couple penny stocks, a couple of these biotech companies that tend to pump. I'm like, these are shitters. Like, these things are going to do well. It's pretty fun. But I lost money, obviously, naturally. So I go back to my server, buddy, and we continue conversing. A couple of weeks go by, and he's like, hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? Like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's this digital money. People are getting into it. Pre-bull run, $588.
2016, right?
Yeah. So I go in, buy some Bitcoin, I think it was about 2.5 or 3 Bitcoin, and I sat on it. That was my first exposure to crypto in 2016. But it wasn't my first exposure actually to crypto. Looking back at it, it was my first exposure to the digital landscape, because Bitcoin crypto is merely the money of the internet. It's not inherently separated to the rest of the internet. It's very much congruent. So 2017 rolls around and I get introduced to social media marketing, e-commerce, Facebook ads, and that's how I start my business. 2019 rolls around, I get fully into crypto after the 2018 bull market.
Of course.
I do 160x return, lose it all. I fell into the hodl,
How did you deal with that? I mean, that's a crazy amount of money to make and lose in such a small period.
It was very simple. I was super high convicted about crypto. I said I need to make more money because remember, 2016 rolled around. I came into crypto with $3,000 from a credit card. Yeah. Right. So I was like, I need to reposition myself the next bull run to do extremely well, which thankfully was a couple $1 million because I did well in e-commerce during COVID. So I dumped all of my money into ETH, into XRP, ADA, Tron, in the bear market dump of, I think it was March, COVID. I was buying Ethereum for like $100. So I did a 40x. Put in a couple $1 million, did a 42x on my portfolio, cashed out at a $59,000 Bitcoin, $3,950 ETH.
Wow.
And I exited the bull run. I shorted Luna because it was an obvious scam of 20%. Like, it was imploding, obviously imploding. Did extremely well on that. And then decided to build my personal brand. So I started trading dollars, which was what I made during the bull run, for influence, because I realized, hey, dollars are depreciating. The government just printed 20% of all circulating supply over the last 3-4 years. It's clearly a shit coin. Let me sell my dollars for influence so that then I can take my influence and make more dollars. So it's like a loop cycle. Yeah. So I built one of the strongest personal brands in the entrepreneur space in the world in the last 2 years. And being good at crypto, it has opened up more opportunities for me inside of crypto as well. So this bull run rolled around. Last bull run, we had NFTs. I would say NFTs were probably one of the highlights for me. We had meme coins kind of begin to be introduced. Staking was incorporated. This bull run, it feels like it's a full meme coin frenzy.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it because over the last 2 bull runs, what we've had is all these projects promise utility, promise roadmaps, promise endeavors, promise tech, and 99% of them never deliver. So when I see this random meme coin pop around the year 2016 known as Dogecoin, I'm like, oh, well, what is this thing? 2017. I never bought it because I'm like, this is a shit coin. I'm too bougie. I'm too much of a financial connoisseur to buy Dogecoin, right? Like, why would I buy $100 million market cap Dogecoin? Seems risky. And then it rips to 10 billion. I'm like, okay, well, what is this? And I began to think, okay, well, why are people in crypto? And who moves the markets? Is it utility? Is it a roadmap? Or is it community? Is it people? Is it hype? Is it culture? And it's obviously the latter. So my crypto perspective has shifted from utility, quote unquote, because a lot of Web 2 projects can offer the utility that Web 3 offers, and realizing that the financial infrastructure, the base layer of crypto, the applications that we use, the chains that we operate on, are going to be hard to compete with and hard to topple. So you just build on top of them and take their momentum and build off of the momentum. And memes, in my opinion, are the most halal version of crypto.
So what are some meme coins that you're interested in and why?
So memes represent culture. So you can look at culture, but then you also look at what drives culture, which is marketing and public relations. So there's some things that naturally take off. Your Dogecoin, your Shiba, your Pepe, because they're already ingrained in culture. Nobody thought that Bitcoin was going to take over, but when it took over, other things started to gain attention. In this case, Dogecoin. The next bull run rolled around. People were like, hey, you know what? We're going to need another set of meme coins because we don't want this thing that's worth tens of billions of dollars already. Introducing Shiba, introducing Pepe, introducing all these other ones. Now, another chain rolls around, Solana. You have WIF, you have all these other ones roll around. And then Coinbase says, hey, you know what? The SEC is cracking down on us. I think we should launch a decentralized chain. So they launch Base Chain. Here come all the meme coiners and launch on Base Chain. I bet on Brett. Brett did extremely well. Now you have other chains that are popping up that are doing extremely well, that are gaining a lot of attention, we talked about culture, but they have the other side, which is the marketing and the public relations, which is what you need in order to drive traffic. So you look at MetaMask, okay? What are the 2 chains that are native to MetaMask? Ethereum and Linea. These are the 2. So these are 2 that are going to have great marketing and great public relations because they have money and they have teams. So what do you have on Ethereum? On Ethereum, you have all these different projects that are rolling around. Meme coins are abundant and generous. Linea is a new one that's rolling around. We have Foxy on Linea that kind of represents the mascot of MetaMask. It's a really good novel idea. Has the ability to take off. Then you have Solana. You have Binance Smart Chain, new tokens rolling out there. It really is about trends, teams, and narratives. That's what it boils down to. So you want to be vested on every potential chain. You want to find the winner on every chain because every chain is going to have their meme winner. And then you want to find the teams that have the best public relations and the best marketing. You don't care about dev work. You don't care about any of this stuff because it's a meme coin. So the ones that I'm looking at, Base Chain, Brett, simple. Solana, MPC, because I talk a lot about being an MPC on Ethereum, Foxy on Linea, and nothing yet on the Binance Smart Chain, and nothing yet on Ton. I'm still looking at
because you got to wait to see what the winner is as well.
You have to wait to see what the winner is.
Otherwise, you can get in too early sometimes.
But you can predict the winner based off of the public relations and the marketing.
Yeah.
Because those are the 2 strongest indicating factors. So for example, you look at Foxy, how they launched, right? They launched most of all the major exchanges off of day one. $100 million market cap off rip. Really strong team, really strong narrative, really strong marketing. Okay, it makes sense. They need to work on the incorporation of the Linea chain, things like that. But what makes me bullish? The fact that you can buy on centralized exchanges. Path of least resistance. Easy to operate. Are people going to go on Base Chain to buy Brett? Not necessarily. They'll probably go on Bybit and buy it.
Yeah.
Or on KuCoin. It's just the path of least resistance. So once you have these centralized listing exchanges, it's all about public relations, marketing. World's yours for the taking.
There's actually a bit of alpha there. Like, look at the projects. There's like a roadmap that past projects have given you to find tokens that
Yes.
are likely to list on exchanges. So something you can do is play the game of like, what is, just think like an exchange. What are they most likely going to list? Something that's decentralized, something that has a strong team, something that has mindshare and users. Generally speaking, at some point they'll list it if the volume's there. So if a meme coin has great volume, great community, is decentralized, and fits the exchange book, you can also pre-position, and that's what a lot of people did with Brett, and then it ran.
And then you need
plus.
and then these meme coins need to have enough liquidity in order for you to exit positions. You see these bullshit inflated market caps, but there's enough daily volume traded, there's enough interest in order for you to exit positions. So all the ones that I mentioned are easy exitable positions based off of the liquidity and the demand.
Yeah, people don't think of liquidity like new investors. They think, oh, it's 100 mil market cap. Well, if the 2% depth is $15,000, you can't sell more than like a 10K clip without nuking price 1 to 2%, and you get crazy slippage. So it's like you gotta factor in liquidity if you're dealing with size.
And that comes down to momentum. And momentum comes down to narrative, and narrative can be built by public relations and marketing. So find the public relations, find the marketing, find the people that have the winning roadmap, exchange listings, partnerships, KOLs, decentralized supply, really fast moving teams, good memes, good graphic design work, good virality and distribution. You'll find a winning meme.
You know why else liquidity matters? I got one more point on this. The big players, the whales, like they aren't trading $10,000, $20,000. They want to get into a meme. They want to buy 5% of the supply. They want to put $10 million in. 99% of memes are simply not able to do that without massively impacting price. So the tokens that do have big exchange listings and a lot of liquidity on chain through the LPs, like these are typically the ones where like whales are almost forced to position themselves there if they want exposure. And like, even myself, if I want to go in with a bigger bet, I'm like limited to a pool of memes. And those are naturally the ones that get the listings that perform better because they're the ones you can enter, like Pepe.
And they have an like an upward momentum spiral. Like the more momentum you catch in crypto, you see these charts, bro. They'll go from 100 mil market cap to $1 billion in 3 weeks.
And whales talk as well. Like if you're a whale and you've got $20 million, are you just going to say nothing? No, you're probably connected in the industry. You've probably got friends, partners that run agencies that can bring KOLs in, partners that are at exchanges.
We're running our own Wall Street. That's what happens in Wall Street in the back end anyway. So those are the memes I'm looking at, brother. Those are the things I'm considering, the chains that I'm kind of observing. And all of these projects I think are going to be doing extremely well this bull run.
Yeah, we'll update the audience on our social medias if we find anything.
Yeah, why not? No false promises, no false illusions. They say what they say they are, and they fulfill their duty.
Example?
Exactly. So once again, everything we invest in, whether you invest in a business, your money, your time, your resources into a business, 75% of businesses fail. You invest in the dollar. They can print dollars out of thin air. They can freeze your money. If you don't have it in cash, it's probably in a bank that can be frozen. If it's in cash, you're most likely considered a criminal nowadays. You can't even move it more than $10,000 at a time. You want gold? Perfect. That's a speculative asset. How much has gold actually moved over the last 10 years? Nothing compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the new speculative asset. And as somebody that understands where we are currently in history, I understand that these leveraged ideas and investing your money in risky ways is just naturally where we are in the history cycle. Let me take you back to Weimar Republic, Berlin, Germany, 1940s, pre-World War II. It was degen center. All sorts of sexual depravity, drinking, alcohol, gambling. Why? Why was everything so rampant? Why was there so many prostitutes out in the street? Like OnlyFans. Well, because they realized it's better, I'll make more money than working. Well, okay, why? Because Weimar Republic was inflating their currency and debasing their currency by printing infinite amounts of money. So the currency that lasted 8 years, people don't know that.
Wow.
In and out. Shitcoin. It's a meme coin. So people began to speculate because they realized, hey, I can't hold this unit of currency, so I have to go invest in other things in order to hold my purchasing power. Dude, it's not our fault we're in this business. We've been pushed and forced into this business. I wish this was 1894, where I can go in with you. We're homies. I stop by your house on a bicycle. You get your bicycle. We're 27. We go to the factory. We make $1,000 that year. And in 2 years, we buy a house. And you can actually save the money because they're not printing it. They forced us into speculation. The entire market is propped up by speculation because nobody wants to hold the shitcoin of the dollar. You just hold the dollar temporarily as a unit base because you see it as one for one. The big fallacy and the big scam of the dollar is that $1 actually equals $1 of purchasing power when it doesn't. From 1971 to today, the dollar's lost 99% of its purchasing power, even though it's all still denominated at 1 unit. It should be denominated at 1 penny for the dollar that it was. But they don't do that, right? Because that's the scam. So if you were holding $10,000 10 years ago and you wanted to spend it 10 years ago versus spending it today, you would be able to buy less things. Why? Because they're stealing from you. They're stealing your time, your energy, your attention through currency. So your job is to find an alternative vehicle to preserve your money, to multiply your money, and to preserve it long term. That's why Michael Saylor is bullish on Bitcoin.
And do you have that belief? Is that your belief as well?
Absolutely.
Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin is one of these ecosystems. Yeah. It's not the end all be all. It just happens to be the monolithic father that has the brand, the IP, the reputation, the network state to validate
the decentralization.
It's good.
Trust.
Bitcoin
BlackRock.
works. Yeah, everything. Bitcoin works. Is it going to be more in the future? We have the Ethereum ETF, potentially a future Solana ETF, and multiple other projects. Absolutely. But once again, we've been put into the situation by the money printers. So when I tell people, hey, crypto is another vertical for you to get out of the hamster wheel, consider it, I take it seriously.
So where do you see Bitcoin going over the next decade? Or even longer?
I mean, millions of dollars. Because if the US government continues to print money, that money is going to get siphoned and filtered into every asset class. Houses are going to increase in price. Salaries are naturally going to increase. The price of Bitcoin is going to increase. When we talk about $1 trillion market cap stock, like what the fuck is $1 trillion? Is Meta worth $1 trillion? No. But there just happens to be $1 trillion of liquidity in the marketplace that props up the value of that stock. The second scam is understanding how these big corporations collude with banks in order to exit their positions. So when you want to list a company public, you'll go to a bank and say, hey, I have my equities, I have my stock, I have what I own in the company. I would like to turn it into a commodity and sell it in the marketplace. So you get together with a bank, you go through the legal process, and you list your company on a stock exchange. Not just the New York Stock Exchange, it can be London, Hong Kong, anywhere. That is when you start selling to retail, right? So how do you drive up the price of your stock? The same way you drive up the price of crypto, news and narrative. Now, the beauty about crypto is that now more than ever, anybody can interact with it. You can buy if you're in Africa, you can buy if you're in Asia, you can buy if you're in South America. You don't need a credit card, you don't need a debit card, you don't even need a license. DEXs, right, have become super useful. But back to the stock market. They run news, we saw it, CNBC, Kramer, to create what? Liquidity, so that the people that own the stock are able to exit it. The entire creation of the stock market was a way for people to, not the peasants to get involved in the markets, but for the rich people to sell unnecessary and unwanted overvalued stock to speculators. Nowadays, people are realizing that the stock market is rigged. We saw it with GME, we saw it with AMC, and they don't want to play that game anymore. So they're naturally starting to go to other games that hold the actual same level of risk, like crypto. It's the same level of risk. You just have to be investing into the right things. I could take you to a section of the stock market, which is called the penny stock market, and they're $25, $30 million market cap companies. Less than a fucking meme coin. So is that a shitter? You know, a little office in the middle of some strip mall that has one customer that pays them 20 mil a year, and now your company's valued at 40, and it's some shell company, and you just pump and dump through that. Dude, the entire game is a scam. Once you realize it, you don't want to play it. You want to make your own.
I think that's why the Bitcoin ETFs have been like such a monumental thing, like especially long term, because a lot of these people that don't want to play that game, they now have like easy access, and they can access it through the same vehicles that they're familiar with. So
Absolutely.
I think people tend to overestimate like progress in the short term, but I think in the long term, if you look over like a 5, 10, 20-year period, like the impact of all these pension funds, you know, 401ks, like all putting 1, 2, 5% allocations into Bitcoin through these ETFs, which I think will become standard for most wealth managers, is like monumental.
We are the next generation of leaders. We are the future. All these old head motherfuckers, they're going to die. Do we want crypto to succeed? 100%. So you don't think the US is going to have a Bitcoin reserve in the future? You're stupid. Because if El Salvador does, so US will. And then other countries will follow. Because everybody follows the biggest dog. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump wins the election and announces the fact that they buy 1 million Bitcoin to just chill and just hold on to that.
Well, I think they've probably already been buying Bitcoin for a long, long time.
100%.
Think about it. Why would the government tell the people that they've been accumulating Bitcoin? All they're going to do is impede their own ability to accumulate supply. So it's actually in their interest.
Fidelity's been mining Bitcoin since 2015.
There you go.
2015. Low key.
Crazy.
Yeah, this space is maturing, but it's still so early, dude. Because what we need to understand is that it's a new industry that's being created. The year's 1848. In the eastern colonies of the United States, they hear rumors that in the West, there was people and peasants finding gold in this place called the American River. After the president confirms, hey, you know what? There's actually gold here. There's real opportunity. 300,000 migrants moved from east to west on the pursuit of finding gold. It wasn't just miners that moved, doctors, lawyers, all people identified opportunity. Today, the biggest digital gold rush, or the money that we're experiencing, happens to be in the internet space. I don't have to deal with dangerous animals, treacherous terrains, thieves. I just have to log into my computer and I have access to the latest and greatest gold rush, maybe even the greatest gold rush in human history, where it doesn't care about your religion, your background, your race, your color, nothing. Do you provide value to the marketplace? You'll get compensated. Do you know how many people were left out of the California gold rush because of their age, gender, color, religion? Tons. No resources. Today, what resources do you need to get involved in the markets? A phone? Access to the internet? It's
Everyone
insane.
watching this right now has a phone
Absolutely.
or a laptop that they're watching on.
So you're either going to consume or you're going to produce. It's very simple. The asymmetrical bet online is insane, but the asymmetrical bet in crypto on top of the internet is even higher. You can go in right now as somebody that has no job, become a valuable community member in 10 different communities. And within 3 to 4 months, I guarantee you half of them are going to be offering you moderator jobs. and you'll have a full-time income.
People don't realize that. Like,
They
it's
don't.
crazy. Like I've been working obviously in the content space and also on the agency side, like, you know, helping advise projects and stuff. And like, it's so hard to find good staff members, good researchers for content, good moderators for projects. I've got my like business partner sitting over there. Like, it's really difficult. So like a message to everyone watching this, like, if you're serious and you like really lock in and you grind, not even for like 2 years, it's 6 months. Like,
Yeah.
if you need a finance degree, it's 4 years, it's 10 years of working. You're gonna climb the corporate ladder. Like, literally in this space, 6 months of like 10 hours a day hard work, you can be in a position where, okay, maybe you're not making 6 figures a month, but you'll be making
You'll
5,
be
10K
making
a
you'll
month,
be
you
making
know?
a full income,
Yeah, full income.
100%.
And you have location freedom, time freedom, which is like all really like, what are you
And
making money for at the end of the day?
and if your fixed expenditures are low, like we talked about before, now you have time freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're set, and now you create the mental real estate in order to identify more opportunities. This is readily available for everyone. I've been talking about this for a while. Most people are just lazy. Most people don't think that it's real. Life is so paradoxical, brother. All we had to do was work hard and press a fucking green button to get rich. That's it. People overcomplicate it. That's it. All you had to do was make money over the last 10 years and put it in Bitcoin. Oh, yo, it sounds easy in retrospect. Okay, yeah, because it was.
And in 10 years, it'll sound easy.
That's
in
all you had to
in
do,
retrospect.
motherfucker. But no, overcomplicated fucking this bullshit business plan, expenses. No. Make money, buy low, sell high.
I think the issue is
The Bitcoin, baby. Fucking love it.
it's so
good.
I think a lot of people, though, they're like conditioned, and this is the school system, right?
sure.
Like, I went to a school that was also relatively, I guess, conservative, good school, but conservative. And I find like a lot of my friends, like that I've, you know, been to school with, they find it really difficult to like make the leap and or try something and take a risk because you're conditioned into like, no, you need to go to university, you need a corporate job because how else are you going to afford a mortgage, and you need stability to pay off a 30-year loan. And I feel like it's obviously top down, that narrative's been driven, obviously, because it benefits the banks and gives them more liquidity to offer loans for credit. And it keeps the credit cycle going. So it's actually in the best interest of these organizations to have this system. But I think people need to take responsibility and just accept like that is the system. Like a lot of you, and even myself, were born into. I think I got relatively lucky that, I found crypto probably similar to you. Like in the beginning, I had, curiosity of mind, and then I got a bit lucky, and then.
But no. Do you know how many people heard about Bitcoin in 2013 and never did anything with the information? It's not about just having the information. It's about acting upon the information, because it's about materialize. You can have dreams and ambitions. If you don't materialize them through hard work and effort, it's not going to happen. You want to become a millionaire? Cool. It's not just going to happen. You have to materialize that dream into reality through action. Action is what brings things from mind to the three-dimensional world. It's what makes it real, right? So when people talk about this idea of, that we are the essence of God, right? God created the universe. Well, we have the ability to create things through thoughts, materializing it through action. So you want to become rich, you want to make money, you want to become successful, you want to develop a good physique, you want to develop a good network. Okay, perfect. You're going to have to expend the necessary energy in order to acquire that. There is no give and take. There is no aspect of, free for all. There's a price for everything. A price must be paid for everything. Yeah. That's just natural law. You want a tree, perfect. You're gonna have to plant the seed.
Even what we do, like it's hard. it's not easy.
It's not easy. But once again, we're talking about the asymmetrical bets and the asymmetrical upside. So if I'm to work 5 years, perfect. Do I want to work 5 years for a $50 million payout? Or do I want to work 5 years for a $50,000 a year payment? Well, the choice is mine. So I need to find the industry, the business, the vehicle, the narrative that'll propel me to my goal quicker. When the internet rolled around in the early 2000s, people were still using fax machines. They were still using different, the little 3-button bullshit with the phones and the palm tap thing. All of these businesses become obsolete, irrelevant. What hasn't become irrelevant is the narrative. So your job isn't to find a business model that is a flash in the pot. It's to follow a narrative. What's the narrative? The internet. The internet was the narrative. You could have just stuck around at the forefront and the cusp of internet innovation. You would have gotten
even
rich.
People that just bought domains and sat on them for 10 years, like any single word domain is now 6 figures.
Buy low, sell high, baby. It's the name of the game, supply and demand. The reason Bitcoin's going up is because more people want it than people want to sell it. That's it. That's the essence of everything. Buy low, sell high. You want to do drop shipping? Cool. You're going to buy low a product and you're going to sell it high. You have an agency service and you have employees. You're going to buy low your employees' time and you're going to sell it high. You want to get into the meme coin space? You want to buy low and you want to sell high. It's all, the entire world is a meme coin, my brother. It's all a meme coin. Just people add all these additional fancy things attached to it that aren't necessarily needed. Now, my opinion is this is a dual-sided kind of perspective because we're talking about the positive things about it. Yeah. Let's talk about the negative things about it. So we're talking about like, hey, crypto's great, but why do most people lose? If it's so good, why is it that most people lose? Well, in fact, it's not that most people lose. There's always the same percentage of winners and losers. 50% of people make money on the trade and 50% of people lose money. To me, 50-50 is still a better variable odd than business. Business is maybe what, 20% success? Holding on to your job.
I think less than 10% of small businesses succeed over a decade.
50-50 partnerships within 5 years, fully dissolved, about 80% of them. Why? Well, because you're betting on that thing. Most people are making bets. Business model you endeavor on, that's a bet. You're betting your entire existence that that's the business model you're going to work on.
Going to university and putting 4 to 6 years in is a bet. It's actually a time trade because, and this is...
You're exchanging time, opportunity, energy, attention for the potential of a positive future. When you haven't even positioned yourself for that positive future, you've just been sold that the paper is going to give you a positive future. And today, more than ever, nobody gives a fuck about the paper. They care about what the experience and the expertise. So I agree with you.
My advice, and this goes back to the point that I was talking about when I was talking about my upbringing, my advice that I give my friends now, because they're young. What you have to realize is, like, I'm 23. How old are you?
29.
29. So still young. Being young, you have the benefit of time, and time's the most valuable resource. So I say to them, just give it 6 months, just pause your job, get enough, save up for 6 months, get enough money together to sustain yourself for 6 months, even to a year, and just try something, just grind something, put your time into it. Obviously, for me, that's crypto. For someone else, it might be something else online, running social media accounts, drop shipping, utilizing AI. Just try it. Worst case, like it doesn't work. Oftentimes you'll find it does work and you'll keep going. Worst case, it doesn't work. You've always got the safety net of if you've been to university or degree, you can always go and get another 9 to 5.
None of these things are safety, right? These are things we tell people to be politically correct, but we know it's not.
Yeah.
There is no safety in a job. There is no safety in a degree. The only security is found within yourself. Your skills, your network, your resources, your abilities, your mindset, your intelligence, the things that you can actually control. What's on the outside, I could fire all my employees for any of 100 reasons tomorrow. For them to feel like they have job security, I could lose everything tomorrow. My business could not work, get no new customers. My employees are relying on me, right, for a paycheck. Their confidence, which is totally fine, is established within the paycheck. But not every boss has tens of millions of dollars. Not every company is sitting on tens of millions of dollars that can actually fund employees for an extended period of time. A lot of business struggle. Most businesses are running on 6% margins. So job security is an illusion. People tell, go get a job, go get your 401k, go get your life insurance, play it safe. Dude, life isn't safe. The highest risk takers are the people that win. And here's the thing. I prefer going out with nothing, having gone all in and tried, because I end up with nothing either way. I die naked, alone.
Yeah, everyone does.
Everybody. So that's why I don't take it so seriously. Everybody's out here taking it seriously. Like they're going to take it with them. Like they're going to be remembered in 100 years. They're not. You and I are having a conversation here. People just happen to have the value of benefiting from it, but I don't give a fuck. Like I'm talking to you. We're having a candid conversation that in 100 years, it'll just be our interaction. We just had it ourselves and whatever, 100,000 plus 200,000, 300,000 people watched it. But none of it matters. So when you take the perspective, none of it matters. We're here today, gone tomorrow. There's no such thing as security in a job or in another individual. It needs to be found within yourself. Highest risk takers are the ones that actually win. Elon Musk took $150 million that he made from PayPal. He could have been retired, living on 10% off that shit every single year in some Caribbean island. And he said, fuck it, putting all the money into Tesla, SpaceX, and I'm going all in. And he had to ask for money in order to do what? Rent a room. Risk. No risk, no reward. You want to risk? Okay, that's where the game is played. Bitcoin was risky 10 years ago. Okay, now they capitalized on it. So it's taking intelligence, because we're talking about you need to be your most valuable asset. You need to find your comfort and your security in yourself. And now you place bets, asymmetrical, high leverage, few sizable bets. You don't need a ton of bets in life. You need a few really good decisions that'll take you to the top.
And